So yesterday I made a video about conditions, and in it I did a sales card, and one of my great users said, "Hey, how'd you make the sales card?" And I can't tell you how much requests like that help. It saves me a ton of time from having to sit around going, well, what do people want to learn? So please do the same. If you want to see something, leave it down below. And if you do, I'll hop to it, just like I'm going to hop to showing you guys these sales cards right now after this message. Brick School is sponsoring a 50% off sale for both BricsBits and BricsFX. BricsBits gives you professional, easy-to-use templates, and BricsFX gives you easy-to-use, subtle animation classes that take your project to the next level. This is a limited-time offer, and your purchase helps Brick School keep going. Links are in the description. Okay, guys, I really don't even like showing the sales messages, but if I don't make money, I got no time to make these videos, right? So let's get to it. Sales cards, they are something that, you know, it just, you have to do them all the time. And I'm calling them sales cards, a sales badge, whatever you want to call it. They all kind of use the same technique. So let's get to it, all right? I'm just going to quickly throw in a wrapper block. Well, I guess first I should add a section. And then in my section, I'll go ahead and add a block. And to that block, I don't know what the hell I did there. To that block, I am going to add another block because, you know, somebody asked me this yesterday. Why do you do this? Why do you put a block inside of a block when you're making a grid? And the reason is so that I can always put a title or a header or something like that in it. So yeah, in this, let's just go ahead and, in this, we're going to add a block. Oops. We will add a block, and that will actually be our card. So let's go ahead and call it card. And in that card, we are going to have a very simple card here. Let's have a image, a heading, and a basic text. All right. And for the image, we will just grab an image here. Doesn't really matter which one. I just grab some from Unsplash. Good enough. And this will be, I don't know what kind of car that is, but I think it's a Camaro. So Camaro 2024. Who knows? A great sporty car. You know, it's a card, right? Now, what we're going to do first to kind of make this a card is to give it some dimensions, and that'd be great, except for I need this to be in a grid, so I'm going to go ahead and make this a grid. So we'll just go grid. I'm using Brick Styler, so I could go, grid 3 and space M, which will give it a gap between them. And there you go. You basically have yourself a card. On this card, let's go ahead and actually what I'm going to do is here, I'm going to wrap this in a block and we'll do content. And for this content, we are going to give it some padding all the way around, and we will give it a padding of, say, space M. Way too big, right? So, space XS. All right, so that just gives it a little bit of space, and, you know, the nice thing is we could give this a background, doesn't really matter. There you go, whatever. You get the idea. And just to make these cards look nice, I am going to, should I round? Yeah, let's go ahead and round it now. Okay, so we're going to go border, we're going to round the thing, and we just go down to our radius. Let's give it our big old radius. We'll go radius L and all the way around. And you'll see that that radius L on that card is there, but there's still stuff. And I'm going to prove that because I'm going to duplicate this card twice. By the way, I did that with just Command Shift, and I think it's called Command. I've just switched back to Mac. Whatever. It would have been Control Shift and D, which would have duplicated, all right? So now I have 3 cards, and the reason is I'm going to show you 3 different sales badges. All right. Yeah. So let's go ahead now. Now, truthfully, I should have put classes on all of these, so I could have, resized them and all that. But I'm showing you the one thing, the sales badge here, right? So let's work on the first one. And the first one we're going to do is just a simple, I tell you what, let's go ahead and clear these out. And on this first one, let's just do a simple one like I did in the video yesterday. And we will go ahead and add tell you what, we'll do it under here. We will add a block. And in that block, we are going to add basic text. And that basic text is going to say on sale. And with this background, actually, let's just quickly, we will center it. Let's give it some spacing. So here we'll go space XS, and we'll match that on the sides. And you actually don't really need space on the sides. That's why I'm using a block, but I'll put it there anyway. So now we have that, and let's go ahead and change the background. We'll make it something nice and bright that you can see it. Good enough. Okay. Oh, and just because, let's go ahead and put some weight to that. So now it says on sale. All right. So now I have that block, and I have my content here. I have this block, which, if I wanted, I could put below the content. It really doesn't matter. And I know what you're thinking. Well, of course it matters. We need it up in the corner, right? Well, that's where this comes in. We are going to make this position absolute. But before we do, I need to get one thing straight. When you have something that is position absolute, it needs to be in a container that is set to relative. So I need you to think about that. I have this thing, and I'm going to put it somewhere absolutely. It needs to be absolute what? Absolute relative to this parent container, okay? So we need the parent container to be relative. But I'm going to not make it relative first, just so we can goof it up. And so here we're going to go to our layout, and we will go and we'll go position absolute, and boom, went to the top. It's all messy. It's all over the place. And oh my God, you're going to be here all day. You're just going to come to the layout. You're going to go position, and you're going to say relative. See, now it's relative to that. And it's cool. It kind of goes across the top, and it's kind of a banner. And you could use that as one type of banner. I was trying to do something a little more exciting for this video, so we're not really going to count that as a banner, but there is a banner, okay? The one in the video, though, was at an angle. It's actually called a ribbon, but whatever. You can call it a badge. You can call it whatever the hell you want. Right, so let's go ahead and get it into position. So the first thing that we are going to do is go to transform. We will click transform. We'll go down to rotate 45. Oops, did it the wrong thing. I'm trying to speed up for these videos, guys, because I know I drag sometimes. I have ADD and I talk really like a stoner. So, yeah. So let's go ahead and we're going to rotate this 45 degrees. There we go. And for position, I'm just going to put my mouse in, and I'm going to press down or up, whatever it is. And I can see this is going to take way too long. And to be honest, there's a little bit of a trick. You could go 50% and then minus 50%, and that it doesn't really work. So what I like to do is, you basically kind of goof around depending on how big your ribbon is. I always make mine way too big, like this. They're full width, so that even if you're off a little bit, the worst that's going to happen is your word's going to be off a little, because that people aren't going to notice. If the ribbon doesn't go all the way through, people are going to notice. Okay, so we're not there yet, so let's go to 55. Nope. 65. Yeah, we're looking about right. And now we will translate Y Why? Because we love you. Oops. I was doing that wrong, you know? It doesn't really matter, though. Let's see. See, that's the thing about this, you know, you kind of have to play around. Minus 25. Yeah, something like that. We'll go 85. 105, getting closer. And 125. Now, I'm well aware that there are easier ways to do this. However, sometimes taking the longer route, you're going to learn why more than just, oh, here's a little trick that if you remember exactly how to do this. So anyway, so there we go. We're almost there. We have it at a pretty nice height, but it's not quite over enough. So let's go, oops. Let's go we'll go 45 and 105. And then what I do is I actually just use my mouse until I get it to about, or I should say my up and down arrow. And we'll just, till I get it about where I want. In this case, it's 100. Great. Okay, so there you go. Badge done. Oh, right. It looks like hell. And the reason is these cards, while we did put a radius on them, we put it on the wrapper or I should say, the card itself. We put it on and it had a background image and a background in the content box, and those are going outside of because they're still in the DOM, but they're overlapping. So what you need to do is trim it up, all right? And to do so, it's very easy. You come down here and you go overflow none. Hidden, pardon me. Told you, it's hard to speed up this pace. So there you are. There's your first sales badge. And okay, doesn't look exactly perfect. This is where now that I've trimmed it up, I would come in and I would say, okay, well, we can pull this up a little and we can kind of bring it over a little. And it really depends on the word and the font. And, there's no exact formula. You can get close and there's some tricks you can do, but for the most part, I personally find it's easier to do it this way. And the nice thing about that is, when you go to a smaller font, let's put this on desktop. Obviously, we would change this wrapper here to a grid 1. All right. So there you go, grid 1. And see, now it's pretty goofy, but that's okay because we can come in here, we can go to transform, and then you would set your transform here, which, usually it should only be X that you have to do. But you will notice once I transform 1, I got to do it all, right? So here we go. We're going to have to go 45. Oh, did that wrong anyway. Okay. So, and by the way, I was kind of doing it kind of slow. I usually hold down shift and that moves in increments of 5 or 0.5 depending on what it is. But there you go. So now it's right there. And if I shoot over here, it's right there, and you definitely are going to want to go in and change the different sizes. So it gets you your proper breakpoints, right? So that's the first way of doing it. All right, that's cool. The second way, and you know what? I'm gonna totally cheat here, and I'm just gonna duplicate that, and we will take it to the second card, and we'll move this down here. And by the way, this is why I didn't use classes, because each one was going to be different. They were going to change each other. So anyway, let's go ahead and on this card, see the on sales way over here, which is totally pointless. I shouldn't have I should have copied that before I made all those changes, but that's okay. We'll just take the transform off. But our card, which because it didn't have a class, needs to be set to, come on class, you got this, it is to relative. Okay, so now it's relative, and this one, we're going to be a little more simple. What we will do is, let's go ahead and this one we're just going to do what we'll do is we'll take our block, and on our on sale, let's go ahead and put a break in here. And the reason for that break, I will show you in a second, but what we're going to do is we are going to take this block and we will change the block and the aspect ratio, which is a little different than my normal setup here. So we're going to take this block. First thing we're going to do is change this text to center because we want to make our nice round, hey, I'm on sale kind of thing. Okay, so to do so, we will set all of the paddings here. So we will set all sides linked, and let's give it a little more padding with M. And what we will do is down here, we will go with, I don't know, 10 characters, okay? And our border, we will set this, we'll set the radius, we'll do all, and we'll just go to radius round. And you know, this one I don't love. It happens, and I got to tell you, if you have an idea of how to make this more tickety boo, but with this, when you use the padding, that's what happens, right? So the kind of a better way of doing this is to not have the padding based on here. Let's go ahead and take this padding off. And what you can do is set the aspect ratio to 1. Okay, so now we've got that perfect circle. And now all we have to do is tell it, okay, font in the middle. We'll change this font because we used the basic text. So obviously the font size is going to be wrong. Let's go ahead and we will go... let's go under our fonts. We will take an extra large, good enough. And what we will do is on the line height, because we got too much space, right? You need to get it down. So line height of 1 should be right. But when you get into these really big fonts, I find it's got to be like a 0.9. You know, like I could have gone 1 and actually, in this case, made a liar out of me. But trust me, more often than not, it doesn't look great. So there you go. Now you've got your on sale and it's stuck there, but kind of looks crappy. Let's put it up in the top corner. And I tell you what, let's actually make this just a little smaller. So we've got text XL. Let's go to text L. And for the width of this, instead of 10 characters, which now would be a weird kind of way of doing it, let's actually change this to rem. I don't know, 12 rem. Yeah, that looks about right. Okay, and what we'll do is we will, did we already make this? Yep, position absolute. So now, by default, it's going to be top left, okay, 0, 0. And if I put, let's say from the left, if I put 50%, goes to middle. But you might say, well, that's not really middle. Well, you're right, it's not. This left edge is in the middle. So if I really wanted that to be dead center, I would then translate it back 50% because it would come back 50% of the size of the circle. But in this case, that's not what we're doing. I just love telling people that because it's fun information. Let's just take it and we'll do it, I don't know. Let's say 3 rem off the wall. No, that was too high. I knew it was too. Yeah, let's go 1 rem. Okay, and we will go 1 rem off the top, which again, I guess I could have done this with padding, but, or margin, but whatever. There you go. And now, boom, it's on sale. And by the way, fun trick with these little circles. If you want, you can still come in and transform and take that rotate Z and I don't know, go 35 and boom, there you go. Now it's kind of on sale at an angle or whatever angle. You can use your mouse and just sit there and kind of turn it. Or if you hold shift and press up, it'll turn faster until you get what you want. All right. So boom, there you go. Bob's your uncle. And yeah, looks a little funny. So let's take our background. Let's actually go to nice transparent. Oh, you know what'd be fun? Let's do, I don't know if this constitutes as fun, but let's admit we're not the coolest of people. And we will put that as a light, which is right there. Okay. So now it's kind of see-through. And of course I have my monitor super dim right now so that it doesn't give so much light off of it. So I'm having a little bit of trouble with colors. So I apologize. Bear with me. Yeah, so let's go to the background. Oops. And we'll just make that a little bit more transparent. Okay. So there you are. Now you've got the second. Okay. Now it's time to really get a little more creative. Now I have created a 500 by 500 image in Canva. And by the way, don't stick your nose up in the air. You know, I've got an Adobe account too. Thankfully, I get to delete it next month and not get fined. It's taken me all year, and screw them. Although who knows what Affinity is going to do. Anyway, here we go. Let's get one of these badges done. So all we're going to do is we're going to go to Elements and we're going to say on sale and see if we can find something. Oh, there you go. Actually, you know what? This is kind of badass. Let's use this. All right. Now, here's a little trick for you because, and I'm not exactly sure. I don't use Canva a ton. But I do know that one of its restrictions is when I go to download this, usually it won't allow me to download the PNG without the background if it's a singular item. In this case, it might, because I think these are actually layered items. But if it doesn't, all you do is stick something real small behind it. You know, like it'll be hidden anyway, but that way you can get the transparent background just by having two items, even though you don't care about the one behind, right? But this kind of looks like it's going to work. So let's go ahead and we will download that at 500 pixels. And, oh, no, see, it says it failed because there's only one image. Oh, well, that sucks. So what I'll do is I will grab another element. Any element, doesn't matter. Let's just grab a graphic and we'll grab this one, which I don't want. And what I'll do is I'll right click and I'll go layer, send to back. And now you can't see it at all, but it gets you past their little, you can't do this thing. Watch. Although I imagine AI is going to come in soon and see if you can actually see the two things, but who cares? You just outline it then, right? Okay, so we'll call that sales badge. All right. And for you smarties, you probably already know where we're going with this. We are going to kind of do the same thing here. Let's first of all, I see what's been catching me. I don't have it where it in my settings where it automatically jumps to where you are. So yeah, I'm not going to worry about that for this video. What we'll do, we'll go here. We'll just add another block. Okay, and actually, we don't need that block. I don't know what the hell I was thinking there. What we do need is another image. And in this image, we will change this image out to, we'll upload a file. There's that sales badge that we have. And bam. And as you can see, Cool, no background, right? So all we have to do now is tell this image, guess what? You are now absolute. And so there you go. It's absolute. And I don't know if I had made this card relative yet. I don't think I did. There we go. Position relative. And so now the image is being held in. Obviously, this image is too large. So let's go ahead and we'll make it, I don't know, 30 rem. That was dumb. I was thinking 13 rem and I said 30. Okay, so there's 30 rem. Now, this one I want to do in the bottom right corner. But here, watch the problem. If I do, the obvious would be bottom, I'd put 0. But guess what? It's going to go down here because we've made the card relative. Oh no, what do we do? It's pretty simple, man. We're going to take this image, we're going to right click, we're going to wrap it in a block. We'll even call this image wrapper because we're good little web designers. And this image here, we can stick inside of that image. And guess what we're going to do? We're going to set this as relative, and now it's relative to the wrapper that is holding that image. Now, when we do this, we're still, and by the way, I didn't do it on this one to show the rounded corners because I had already showed you, but on this one, we still want that outer wrapper of the card, and the reason is that has the border on it. Remember, we have the border here of large, but it's not showing because we have to go in and tell it the overflow is hidden. And it is really weird to have this dimmer thing. Okay, so there we go. And if we wanted, probably want to put that over here on the right. So let's just grab this. We will change our thing to right 0, and boom, it pops over to the right. And Bob's your uncle. Oh, I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. Can you still turn it? Yeah, you can. So you could still, if you wanted to, I don't know why you'd want to, but just wanted to show you that even if it's an image, you can still change it. You can still translate it. Oh, wait, I'm actually on the right side, aren't I? I don't know. Let's see here. Yeah, something like that. You get the idea. You can position it, but what I want to do is I want to send it kind of further over because I want to show you what's going to happen. So you see how it's getting cut off. And the reason it's getting cut off is because we have that overflow hidden. All right. So that's why you're not seeing as that image goes, further in, a little magic trick there for you, but you get the idea. The outer wrapper is keeping it nice and trimmed while that image starts to disappear. Did that work? I hope that worked. Anyway. All right, guys, that's it. This was, I guess, a little bit longer of one. Hopefully you stuck in there. Hopefully you learned some stuff. Please ask for a bloody video. Like, just say, hey, I want to see this, and I'll do my best. All right, that's it. Have a good one. I will see you in the next video. Later.